How does it feel, Xbox fanboys? How does it feel to have all of your arguments, all the justifications you made, all the excuses you made for Microsoft, and all the poor decisions they've made, and all the bad things that they've done to gamers, and all the bad things they're going to do to gamers? How does it feel to have all that thrown out the window by Microsoft themselves? All of your excuses, all of your justifications were not even good enough for Microsoft to stick by what they were going to do. Microsoft just yesterday came out and stated that we can now disconnect the Kinect sensor from the Xbox One. And just listen to what I just said. We are now allowed to disconnect a peripheral that's not mandatory to the functionality of the console. It's such a minute thing, but at the same time, that just shows how intent they were on screwing us. First, the Kinect sensor was on at all times. Then we were allowed to pause it and turn it off. Now we're allowed to disconnect it. Don't you guys see how Microsoft's being forced to make these good changes to the Xbox One? These are good changes, guys. And I applaud Microsoft for doing a 180 and reversing that, because that was one of the main things I didn't like about the Xbox One. I did not want to have the Kinect sensor. Now, I'm still not going to get one because it's still packaged with one, because it just doesn't make any sense. If I don't want to use it, and if I'm going to pause it and turn it off, and now I can disconnect it, what's the point of selling me one in the first place? Now, I know a lot of you Xbox One fanboys are already up in arms, and every time Microsoft makes a reversal, you guys get upset. You guys do. You guys act like these are bad reversals. They're not. You guys are still getting what you want. It's just that you have more options, more freedom than you did before. What's the problem with options? What's the problem with freedom? What's the problem with releasing a hold of balls and being less restrictive? There is no problem with that. But for some reason, you guys see it that way. Microsoft just proved that the Xbox One is fully functional without the Kinect sensor. What can you do without Kinect? Everything else except for video chat. It won't sign you in automatically, even though with the Xbox 360, you can just set your profile to default and it'll automatically sign you in. And thirdly, voice commands. But there's nothing on the Xbox One that you can't already do with the controller. So why was Kinect made mandatory in the first place? I know a lot of you guys are going to make the excuse that, oh, well, last generation, the Xbox, with the Kinect sensor and everything, they want more developer support for it, which is why they're doing it this way, so that everyone has one, so that the developers will be more open to make things for Kinect. If that's true, then why didn't the original Kinect have a better attachment rate? It was 1-to-1. 1-to-1. Which means on average, for every Kinect sensor sold for the original Xbox 360, there was only one game sold with it. Well, not exactly with it, but for it. That's terrible. 1-to-1 attachment ratio? And you know what the difference here is? With the original Xbox 360 and the Kinect sensor, they were sold separately, but you could also get it in a bundle. But you had to actively be interested in getting one. So when you have to actively go out and get one, but the attachment rate is still 1-to-1, that's bad. That's really bad. And if you guys think for one moment that Microsoft packaging the Kinect with all these Xbox Ones is going to make developers just flock to it and start developing for it, no, that's not going to be the case. You guys know all the millions and billions Microsoft has put in for the Kinect sensor. If Microsoft wanted to make a AAA title for the Kinect sensor last generation, they would have done so. They would have done so. If the company itself can't even put out a decent game for it, then how are you going to rely on other developers to do so? Does that make sense to you? You guys don't even compare it to PlayStation Move either. PlayStation Move, I think like the last game you could play with it was BioShock Infinite. You can use the Move controller, there's plenty of games that you use with the Move controller, but that's not the same for the Xbox One. It only serves as a gimmick in games, like with the voice commands and such. You don't need it, but it's available if you want it, if you have a Kinect sensor. But don't think that just because the Kinect comes with every Xbox One, that you're going to see Kinect integrated into every single game. That's up to who? The developers. Why isn't Microsoft making them do some special stuff with Kinect? They can get you guys timed exclusive content, can't they? So where are all these crazy Kinect features and these just brilliant things that Kinect is going to bring to the table with us that serves the purpose of buying it along with the Xbox One? It's not there. Kinect's only there for Microsoft's benefit, not for yours. Because I guarantee if they gave consumers the option of buying Kinect, we'd see some really poor numbers. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on that. So I hope you all have a good day. And Xbox One fanboys, time for that damage control.